Now, I would like to invite others from our team to ask any specific questions that they have towards this topic.
Yes, Albas.
I mean, not a specific question to the topic, but if there's time, I would like to hear some thoughts of you on the nature of the law itself, right? Like, as it is framed in a way that it is like you touched upon it as well. It is heavily colonial in its nature, and it has been like that. And the police system, the law and order, everything was made or constructed in a way to counter the resistance or anti-establishment voices, right? So, do you think this is the trend internationally everywhere?
No, 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 not really. You see, American laws are not considered good, American criminal justice system.
Yeah.
Even children can be given death penalty. The incarceration rate is very high. The Scandinavia presents a better criminal justice model. I have written somewhere that I don't want to see my country in the company of Sudan, Afghanistan, Iran, China, and Saudi Arabia. But unfortunately, we are in that company on the death penalty. We are in that company on the question of blasphemy. I believe one of the biggest opportunity which we have lost in BNS is to decriminalize blasphemy. Why should religious defamation be a criminal offense? If somebody feels offended, let him file a civil case. Similarly, criminal defamation. Similarly, abolition of death penalty would have led to widespread welcome of BNS in the country. The liberals and the civil libertarians are little disappointed because more crimes in India today have death penalty than they had when the penal code was made. Then we have number of cases, even though Supreme Court has said mandatory death sentence is unconstitutional. In the Mithu Singh versus State of Punjab, still we are providing for mandatory death sentence in number of laws. So, looking at criminal justice system only as a control mechanism is not right. On death penalty, it is said how death penalty, survived. Some of the earliest laws did not have death penalty. The early Chinese law did not have death penalty, for instance. Death penalty survived because state became its biggest advocate. They could suppress the political dissenters. They can eliminate their opponents by using death penalty. So, what is really happening that in the award of death penalty, we consider individual is not important. We also accept simultaneously that criminal justice system has no solution to this problem. If a doctor kills the patient, can he be considered a good doctor? He has to treat the patient. So, in the whole system of criminal justice system in particular and law in general, we are yet to come out of the colonial mindset of control of population and adopt, and adopt this through changes in our law that we believe in civil liberties and people are entitled to certain rights and certain freedoms. It requires a big shift in our understanding and looking at law. That law is not just an agent of social control. I believe it is a bad agent of social control. So you pass the dowry prohibition law, nothing much changed. You passed, number of other laws on prevention of corruption, on food adulteration. So we consider passing of laws solves a problem. We made rape law very stringent after the Delhi gang rape. But you know that things don't change. And we consider that punishment, if we increase punishment, the rate of crime will go down. But there is no connection between the intensity of punishment and the rate of crime. It is the certainty of punishment which has a better positive impact. Yeah, next question, please.
Yes, sir.
You are
Anyone
again and
else?
again, Momita, getting messages, and
Yes, sir, it's
is
the
letting
AI
me.
bot. I think we have to, yeah, we have to take that out. Just give me a second, sir.
Hmm.
Anyone else? Amir, sir, if you have any question.
Sir, I had one question. So, like in one of the questions that Momita had asked about the other factors that are there for, and like you had alluded to the police. So in the case of a communal riot or communal violence that happens, and as we've seen in the cases of processions, there's a disproportionate amount of cases that are registered against the Muslims who might have been involved in comparison to the Hindus. And even though in many cases the route of the procession that was decided with the police and the local administration has been violated, and hence the procession entered into a Muslim dominated area, the burden of the incident is placed on the Muslims, which we can see by the number of cases that are registered against them. So, in these type of cases, do we say that it is the bias of the police which is allowing such a thing to happen due to them having a nexus with the local administration and the organizers of the procession? Or is it that the nature of the law is such that the cases will be filed against those who are in a sense defending themselves against the violence or the intimidation of the procession?
Rashad, one very interesting suggestion made in the Constituent Assembly was that we add word privately in Article 25, that you will have freedom of religion to profess, practice, and propagate religion privately. I believe had this suggestion been accepted, much of our problems would have been solved. We have too much of public demonstration of religiosity. And this excessive demonstration of religiosity is leading to a lot of frictions. How religious processions lead to communal violence has been researched by historians. This is not something new. It's happening from the 19th century, so to say, late 19th century, post First War of Independence. Now, in such cases, the police has the primary duty because you cannot take out a procession without a permission of the police. And the thumb rule has been that a religious procession ideally should not be allowed in the areas which are inhabited by the people of the other religion. But many a times, now since it has become a norm to assert that we can do anything. So we have seen number of processions passing through mosques, and they play all kind of provocative music there, and even slogans. And police does not do work. There have been suggestions that if any district magistrate does not control a communal riot within 24 hours, then he is to be suspended. Because the understanding was that if any communal violence continues beyond 24 hours, that means the district administration has been complicit in its duties. I would personally not like to see too much of public demonstration of religiosity. But we are living, Rashad, in the rush hour of God.
Hmm.
This excessive public demonstration of religiosity, unfortunately, is devoid of spirituality. And since we do not value fellow human beings and we want to use religion for the purposes of hate, such kind of violence will continue. You are right that except a few exception here and there, generally minorities are charged in greater number whenever a communal violence takes place, and then it takes years for them to get out of system. But we can't do much about it. Uh, there was an idea that we have a rapid action force, RAF, which will be trained in human rights, which will be trained and enlightened about how to control crowd in a more humane and libertarian way, and also to have diversity of the society in RAF. It does a better job than some of the police forces like PAC or the Assam State Armed Force, which many a times indulged in many things which Constitution may not permit. But basically, what is happening that we don't really do proper training of police constabulary. And two, the service conditions of police constables are extremely harsh. They have long hours of work, they don't get the sleep, they don't get the home leaves, and therefore at times they become very, very inhuman. So rather than investing too much in the senior police officers, we should invest in the constabulary, improve their service conditions, give them training in human rights and training in the crowd control and training in inculcating the constitutional norms.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. I think our
Yeah,
time is also up. Yeah. Abbas.
Momita, just a second.
Yes.
Yeah, just a quick one. One of the issues that we've been discussing for a long time has been that of the procedural problems and the judicial process. For a long time, there is enough literature on that. You have talked about it. Upender Bakshi did. So is there anything on the judicial process that you see that needs to be done quickly? Can you hear me, Momita?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, there are some efforts made in terms of access of justice and giving of effective legal aid so that better lawyers get engaged for the accused. I'm aware that the collegium considers your involvement in free legal aid while elevating lawyers as judges of high court. And there are some improvements made in new code of criminal procedure. But if I have to answer it in one sentence, the judge population ratio is extremely poor in India. So unless we increase this ratio, drastically, no amount of change in law will help. And then in a criminal trial, Amir Bhai, justice hurried would be justice buried. So it is not good either that we take away all the rights of the accused for the speed of justice. Because in every adjudication, it is important, but more so in criminal justice system where liberties of people are involved, that we do not achieve speed at the cost of rights of the accused. So difficult, but our investigation is very poor. So, new criminal procedure code, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Adhiniyam, so to say, says that we will have proper prosecutors. But, prosecution and police are one and the same. That is also another big cause. They really don't know which cases to prosecute. And many cases, end up in acquittal, but by that time, there is a huge load on a criminal justice system in keeping people in jails. In fact, it is said that the best jail reform would be to abolish jails. They really don't serve much of a purpose.
Yeah. And here is the question, and Momita, I promise this is my last, which only Professor Faizan Mustafa can best answer, which is that what, very briefly, what is the challenge as far as legal education in India is concerned, and what are those 2 or 3 things that we need to do to correct that?
No, the biggest challenge is that if we are producing people who are amoral technicians, great experts and professionals to make a lot of money, but they have not become socially relevant, people who do not feel the pain of fellow human beings, then we are producing amoral experts of law. So, inculcating constitutional ethos in law students so that they contribute to the rule of law society, I think is the biggest challenge. And any law school, I think, should be judged on this yardstick, that what is the contribution this law university has made to uphold the rule of law or to popularize the importance of a rule of law. So I think this is extremely important.
True, true. That I think underlines everything, that, it will also enable legal education to produce good judges, because while we are producing good lawyers, we don't really have a supply chain that produces good judges.
No, I'll tell you,
So,
Amir Bhai, many
I
years
guess,
ago, Justice
Hmm.
Karju, when he was on the Supreme Court, he
Yeah,
wrote in one judgment, uh, you know, something is rotten in Denmark, borrowing from Shakespeare, that
Hamlet.
something is rotten in Allahabad, because some
Oh,
Allahabad judge who did not have a jurisdiction decided the case. So I
oh,
wrote one article that if something is rotten in Allahabad, Justice Karju must be knowing because he is from Allahabad. But the real problem is not this. The real
see,
problem is that there are judgments which are against law. And there are judges who are giving those kind of judgments even from the superior courts. So I said, if judges are giving wrong judgments, blame me. And I confessed as a law
correct.
teacher that I am the one who has given them degrees after all. So if you want to really improve judiciary, you have to invest in the legal education. But legal
Yeah,
education, unfortunately, is not a priority of any government.
so true. So thanks so much, Vedant.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mamita.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for
Oh.
attending our discussion today, and thank you everyone else for asking some very important
Just
questions. That
one
was very
last
great.
line.
Yes, sir, sure.
NLU Delhi has done a good research about, uh, you know, uh, people who are on the death rows. And it clearly found that minorities, SCs and STs are overrepresented on death rows. Unlike America, we have not yet done any research. And Amir Bhai, if you are willing to do that research, I think we can take it forward. We don't look at what kind of
Yes.
sentences are passed when you get people from lower
Yeah.
strata of the society
Yes.
or from a particular religious community. So in United States, also this was a problem at one point of time when they said that
Yeah.
black convict has 3 times higher chances of getting a death penalty than a white convict. And then it was
Mhm.
said that one reason for this is that the number of black judges is small. So more
Right.
black judges are to be appointed. So more black judges were appointed. And after a few decades, when the sentencing pattern of these black judges were studied, it was found they were harsher than white judges. Because to prove that they are absolutely fair when
Yeah.
supervising the criminal trial of black people, they gave harsher sentences. In India, this is
Yeah.
absolutely virgin field where we have not looked at the sentencing patterns, looking at the religion and caste of judges, and looking at the religion and caste or economic status of the convicts. This is one area which we must research.
Let's do that right away. In fact, that's a great outcome from
तो
today's
प्रोजेक्ट तो
discussion.
लाइए आप, तब हम CNLU के साथ कर देंगे आपके साथ.
चलिए, done.
ठीक है.
100%. So,
Thank you.
Momita, Sejal, Rashad, I think we should just write this out as Faizan bhai outlined, that and see what we can learn from the US literature,
Yes.
and use that same methodology. We don't have to recreate it again. So,
Yes.
No, just going to
with
the district
yeah,
court, just pick up Hyderabad and maybe
जी,
Patna, and if we
जी,
pick up 100 cases, the
correct.
excellent, original research will be there, first of its kind in India.
In India.
Let's start that. Let's start that right away. It's
चलिए,
a
done.
wonderful idea. It'll give us, it'll give us so much insight into what is happening, and then will allow us to go back and seek solutions.
Yes.
I think I think this is something that we can't postpone. We should do it right away.
Yes, so we'll do that.
चलिए.
We'll do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
We'll
done,
write
done.
it out
Yes,
and
sir.
and then we'll
Yes.
discuss this then. Thanks so
हाँ.
much.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.